What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. I'm your host, Isaiah, and we got some shocking news on yesterday as it was announced that Bill Belichick was not voted as a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, this is one of the worst decisions in sports history, not just NFL history, but in sports history, because you cannot discuss the history of the NFL without mentioning Bill Belichick. He has the most Super Bowl wins with 6, has the most Super Bowl appearances with 9, has the most playoff wins with 31, has the most playoff appearances with 19, has the most divisional championships with 17, and he is second all-time in wins with 333. He is arguably the greatest coach in the NFL history, and he is one of the greatest coaches in sports history. And again, y'all, you cannot talk about the history of the NFL without mentioning Bill Belichick, because he has done so much for the NFL. He has done so much for the game of football. He has produced so many legendary players. And I know a lot of people have been saying, well, he had Tom Brady and Tom Brady carried him to those Super Bowls. But y'all, let's be honest, Bill Belichick is not the only legendary coach that has had a legendary quarterback. Don Shula had Dan Marino. Bill Walsh had Joe Montana. Andy Reid had Donovan McNabb and Patrick Mahomes. And Sean Payton had Drew Brees. And we didn't hold that against them. So why should we hold it against Bill Belichick? And let's be honest, y'all, it's not like Bill Belichick did not develop Tom Brady, because when Tom Brady arrived to the Patriots, in 99, he was a raw player, y'all. That's why he got drafted in the 6th round. It's not like he was, some great prospect coming out of the University of Michigan. That's why he went in the 6th round, because he was a raw player. He was a raw prospect. And, a lot of people didn't have tremendous expectations for him in the NFL, y'all. And Bill Belichick developed him into arguably the greatest player of all time. Definitely the greatest quarterback of all time. So we have to give him a lot of credit for that, because it's not like, y'all, Tom Brady just carried him and Bill Belichick, did not play a part in his development. No, Bill Belichick was huge, y'all, when it came to developing Tom Brady, when it came to putting, great receivers, great talent around him, like Randy Moss and Wes Welker and Julian Edelman. So we have to give Bill Belichick a lot of credit for that as well, because again, it's not like Tom Brady just carried him to those Super Bowl wins, and Bill Belichick did not play a part in that, y'all. He played a huge part in Tom Brady and the overall success of the New England Patriots. And also, y'all, Bill Belichick is arguably the greatest defensive coach in NFL history. Think about how many elite defenses that the Patriots had year after year after year, and all the legendary players that he developed and coached, like Darrelle Revis and Todd Law and Richard Seymour and Vince Wilfork. So, y'all, again, I think a lot of people are just discrediting Bill Belichick because he had Tom Brady and because he had, other Hall of Fame players on his team. But again, y'all, the same could be said for a lot of legendary coaches. It goes hand in hand, right? Great players need great coaches, and great coaches need great players. And even you look at NBA, y'all, no one ever, brought up the fact that Phil Jackson won those 11 championships, and he had, Kobe Bryant, the late great Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal, and Michael Jordan, and Dennis Rodman, and Scottie Pippen. No one ever brings it up. They just say Phil Jackson won 11 championships, and he's the greatest coach in NBA history. We don't ever bring up that he had, Hall of Fame players on his team. We just say he won those championships. We should do the same thing with Bill Belichick, y'all. He won 6 Super Bowl rings, and he has the most Super Bowl appearances in NFL history with 9. So let's give him his credit. And then another thing, y'all, people have been trying to hold against him is this: the whole Spygate and the Flakegate thing. Here's the thing. Even if that didn't transpire, the Patriots were still going to win the Super Bowl those years, because they were just by far and away the best team in the NFL. So even if that didn't happen, y'all, they were going to win. You could say that maybe, hurts his legacy a little bit because he cheated, y'all. But here's the thing. If we're going to hold that against him, we should also hold that against Tom Brady. I think it's going to be very interesting, y'all, to see what these voters do in a couple of years when Tom Brady is up, right, for enshrinement. Because I guarantee y'all that they're going to induct him as a first ballot Hall of Famer. They're not going to hold Spygate and the Flakegate against him. So why are we holding it against Bill Belichick? We have to be fair, y'all. I really cannot believe that Bill Belichick was not voted as a first ballot Hall of Famer, because when you look at his resume, when you look at his body of work, y'all, again, not only is he arguably the greatest coach in NFL history, and I believe he is the greatest coach in NFL history, but he's also one of the greatest coaches in sports history. And you just told this man that he's not worthy of being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Y'all, if Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then who is? I mean, honestly, like, and this makes me think, is Sean Payton going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Is Andy Reid going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Even though those guys have had, you know, tremendous success, y'all, tremendous resumes. I mean, let's be honest, Bill Belichick definitely has a better resume than those guys, and he didn't even get inducted as a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, let me say this. I do believe, y'all, that next year, although I'd be shocked if this didn't happen, but I do believe that next year Bill Belichick will get inducted into the Hall of Fame. We've heard some rumors, y'all, that Bill Polian, who used to be the GM of the Indianapolis Colts back in the day, we've heard rumors that maybe he had like a personal vendetta against Bill Belichick, and he's, you know, is allegedly quoted as saying he wanted to make Bill Belichick wait a year because of the whole Spygate, and the Flagate situation. And y'all, I'm telling you, if that's true, it's absolutely ridiculous. Again, the Patriots are going to win regardless of that. Bill Belichick is arguably the greatest coach in NFL history, and he should have been voted as a first ballot Hall of Famer. So, I mean, if that is true, then I cannot believe, you know, Bill Polian feels that way. And I think he's probably not the only voter, y'all, that felt that way. Obviously, you know, you need 40 or 50 votes to be, you know, enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I should say. And Bill Belichick didn't get those votes, so it's not like Bill Polian was the only voter that, you know, did not feel like he was worthy as being a first ballot Hall of Famer. It was 9 other voters as well, y'all, did not feel like he was worthy as being a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I think they're really gonna have to reconsider, you know, who they have as voters, y'all. Because I mean, you cannot tell us that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer with all he has done, with all he has meant to the NFL and to the game of football, y'all. I mean, if it wasn't for him, right, the Patriots dynasty, that would have never happened. If it wasn't for him, Tom Brady would have not developed into arguably the greatest player of all time. Right, like that happened because of Bill Belichick. We have to give him his credit. We have to give him his respect. Again, he's not the only coach, y'all, in NFL history that has had a legendary quarterback and that has had Hall of Fame players. There are a lot of coaches in NFL history, y'all, that has had legendary quarterbacks and other Hall of Fame players on their team, and we gave them their credit. We gave them their respect as being, you know, first ballot Hall of Famers. I really cannot believe, y'all, that these voters did not do the same for Bill Belichick, and I really feel for him, y'all, because I mean, you think you accomplished as much as he had, you would easily be, you know, a shoe-in to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But instead, y'all, he's not getting in. He's going to have to wait a year, at least a year, y'all. It could be longer. I mean, honestly, because, again, we're hearing rumors that, you know, some of these Hall of Fame voters are not too fond of him, which I think is just absolutely ridiculous and absurd, y'all. But, yeah, Bill Belichick was not voted as a first ballot Hall of Famer. And, wow, I mean, if you're other coaches out there, you really have to think, man, I might not have a good chance of making it, you know, in the Hall of Fame as well as a first ballot Hall of Famer, because if Bill Belichick couldn't get in, y'all's first ballot Hall of Famer, then who in the world can? So there I have it. This is me reacting to the shocking news that Bill Belichick was not voted as a first ballot Hall of Famer. Remember, y'all, laps, good messages, or what? Make sure you get your daily dose. Y'all know I'm in it, man. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.